And welcome. We are in 303 and we return now back to Mr. Conrad's Unstoppable volume. We are in a very important chapter, chapter 13, Tough as a Brick, page 41. We had the privilege of Mr. Conrad visiting room 303 a year or so ago, where he actually shared this very story with our group in 303 and in fact signed a brick that always references this chapter, Tough as a Brick. Let's go ahead and read here. The focus for this one, if you will, write it down in your journals quickly, is the idea of the challenges or the storms, you'll know why that's the word picture, of life brings out true character. In other words, you don't often know, really, who and what you have inside of you until some really serious difficulties that come your way. And then you can begin to find out. Let's read. To this day, it's proudly displayed in our high school trophy case. Many times I've heard students and others say, "What the heck's a cinder block doing in the trophy case?" I know why it's there, because I'm the one who put it there. What the students don't know is that cinder block is a monument from the greatest race ever run in our high school. Certainly it's the most famous race. I've shown the video clip to thousands of people, obviously even to our students at Worland High School. It's called the cinder block relay. Here's how it happened. Chris Sheep was a student and advisee for 4 years. And I never saw a B on his progress reports or his report card. He was a straight A student and a great kid, but not the most athletic kid. That's what made the cinder block relay so special. I nicknamed him Psycho. One day after school, Chris came to talk to me in the weight room. I think it was the first time he was ever in the weight room. It must have impressed him because he wanted to return if I could help him lift. How many times I've been asked that in 26 years, I can't remember. I'd help a kid for days, and they'd quit after a week or two. So, I wanted to see how serious Psycho was. I'm putting you on the 30-day rule, I told Chris. You show up here for 30 days in a row without missing a day, and then I'll help you lift. I didn't think he'd do it. I was wrong. After Chris met my challenge, I needed to keep my end of the deal. So I put him on my workout program. He quickly started getting stronger, much stronger. But physical strength alone is worthless without the mental strength behind it. I want to read that line again. Physical strength alone is worthless without the mental strength behind it. So every day, after an hour and a half of working on physical strength, we spend time working on mental strength. Chris dubbed this time the tricka. The tricka was basically anything I could conjure up in my mind. I would take all of the weightlifters, some days 15 to 20 of them, off to do something crazy. One day it was the dumpster derby. We pushed a loaded dumpster uphill. The fastest time was the winner. Another day it was the tough man contest. It consisted of all the kids lying in the snow with just shorts on, throwing snow on each other. Did I mention it was 35 degrees below zero that day? It was cool, to say the least. But the most famous trick of all was the cinder block relay. This insane event was just like the 400-meter relay, where 4 runners would each run 100 meters, handing off a baton to each other. But in this case, it was a cinder block. The cinder block relay was my idea. What occurred during the race came from above, literally. With a wind chill of 10 degrees, the runners took their places around the track. As the sky grew dark, I said, "On your mark, get set." And suddenly, hail ripped through the sky. Go! Blasting off into an intense, pleading and stinging hailstorm, the runners attempted to outrun it. The storm won. We watched this on video. It's an amazing thing. The minute he says go, literally it's like the sky just turns open and hail starts just falling like crazy as these kids take off running around a track holding a huge cinder block. By the time the last runner received the cinder block, he was barely visible through the hail. The track instantly turned to a carpet of white. How those guys could see, let alone set the new school record, was beyond me. At the finish line, they unfurled the American flag the way obviously you do at the end of the Olympics race, right? The 4 of them, Chris Sheik, Garrett Schoper, Al Hooks, and Brian Skorotsky, took the victory lap just like you would do at the Olympics, right? Luckily, a fellow teacher decided to film the event. It was a hail of a race. Haha. I thought to myself the whole time, that's just crazy, man. By the way, author's note over on the other side there, Chris applied his mental toughness to graduate from Colorado School of Mines with a degree in engineering. And now, yeah, he's doing a very, very fine job, right? And he even says it, good job, Psycho. Let's pause for a moment in your journals and just make a couple of quick observations to finish. As I say already, we were privileged to be able to watch this performance, and Mr. Conrad, in fact, even gave us a brick that he had signed, tough as a brick. Jot down what you think that means, tough as a brick. The idea is a brick doesn't break down and start crying when someone makes fun of it. A brick doesn't walk away if someone challenges it because it's afraid, it lacks courage. Tough as a brick. I like this idea, and I think you should write it down. What about this 30-day challenge that he threw down on this kid? Is there one thing that you could challenge yourself to try to do for 30 straight days, and you hold yourself to it? Jot that down. Is there anything, doesn't matter what it is, but it's got to be something that is demanding for you. But for 30 straight days you would do it. Now this is not stuff you normally do. This is something that you would make up that would be demanding or challenging, and then you try and hold yourself to it for 30 days. I think it says a lot about you and me if we're capable of setting those kinds of short-term goals. Short-term, 30 days, not that long, but maybe that's something you want to think about trying. Finally, notice in our story the word picture. The storms arrived, but it did not stop them from running their race. And that's a compelling word picture, right? The key is, no matter what is it that Churchill said in that famous speech when they thought he was going to talk for over an hour? Because obviously it was a terrible, terrible moment in the history of the Battle of Britain and the war. And he got up in front of all those people who were ready to sit there for a very long time, and all he said was, never, ever, ever give up. 5 words that changed the course of the world. The amazing Churchill. Never give up. And the challenge to be unstoppable is in fact that. In the middle of the storm, when it's easy to say, dude, this is totally insane, it's hailing, let's get inside. No, we said we were going to carry this stupid cinder block around the track, we're going to carry it around a track, right? In the end, it isn't about the challenges that we give to ourselves, it's about completing those challenges. And slowly, once we do a couple of these, we can begin to gain some confidence and say, well, hey, if I did that, I can do this. And if I did this, I can do that. Yes, that is to say, graduate. That's our goal, isn't it? Because we're high school students, to be able to graduate and walk that track, which is, of course, going to be a great day here in a few days. Thank you.